So how can a foreigner establish a company in China? We have to understand, first of all, what we're talking about when we're talking about a foreigner. I would not recommend for an individual to directly incorporate a company in China for a host of reasons. We can talk about that at another point, but what I would recommend, and what everybody I believe recommends here, is to use at least a holding company abroad, possibly Hong Kong, Singapore or elsewhere, to hold the shares and carry the investment into the company in China. Before even looking at establishing a company in China, you have to think of it as a business. What do you want to achieve in China, and what kind of business you will be in? That is, how you make the money, how you get it out of the country, what regulations will be applicable to the business you will be carrying out. This means that you have to talk to a lawyer. Talk to a lawyer, just do not go to a cheap incorporation agency that will always say that what you're doing is right. Talk to a lawyer. That will be a bit more expensive, but it will allow you to have a very good understanding of the regulations you will be under. For example, the food safety regulations, if you're planning on doing anything that has to do with food, the environmental protection regulations, all sorts of industrial regulations that may apply to you, as well as the financial aspects, for which I would recommend you talk to us. Anyways, the procedure for establishing a company in China is actually pretty long, so you have to brace yourself as a company or as an individual, and gather and align the human resources, the financial resources, and launch the project once everything has been studied really well and you know exactly where you want to go. It takes in general, say 12 weeks, that is about 3 months, to 5 months or more. It may actually take forever or not even succeed if your investment is not approved. To get a better idea of how things are going to work for your company, go and look at the catalog of foreign direct investment. You have a variety of industries, some of which are forbidden to foreign investment, some of which are restricted, some of which are approved, and some of which are recommended. Depending upon the industry you're hitting, it will be faster and easier or more difficult and slower to incorporate your company. Now you have in at least 16 steps to incorporate a company in China. The first one is to submit your Chinese name for pre-registration. You have to find a Chinese name that makes sense and that will be unique. The name is very important, and that will also carry your brand if you would like to. You do not have to operate your company under your brand name, but it's very important not to make a mistake with the name. The second step is the registration and approval by the Ministry of Commerce, the MOFCOM. It will take a lot of documentation and a lot of back and forth. Again, use a professional for this. The third step is the opening of a temporary account. You do not have to do it, but I recommend doing it. If you do not have a temporary bank account, you will not be able to bring in money into the company from abroad and incorporate it into your investment. The money you will bring into the company, into the accounts of the company, will basically become ghost money. You will not be able to take it out, it will not be recognized as anything, it will just cause trouble. The fourth step is the approval by relevant ministries for restricted activities. For example, anything that has to do with education, law, medical, and a host of other fields. This is also a lot of negotiation, a lot of back and forth. Again, use a professional. The fifth step is submitting the required documents, including articles of association, etc., to the State Administration of Industry and Commerce, that we usually call the SAIC, for their review and approval. The sixth step is the issuance of the business license by the SAIC, and you are far from being done at this point, but at least you have a business license, which means that you can move from there to the 7th step, which is the registration with the Public Security Bureau. More or less everything that is happening in China will happen under the umbrella of the PSB, the Public Security Bureau. You will hear the word Gong'anju very often, and this is what you will have to face. The 8th step is the production of company seal, the financial seal, and the legal representative seals. Do not believe that this is not important. It is extremely important because those documents are the signature of the company. If you ever get a chop on a piece of paper, destroy it. Do not let it sit outside, because it can be used to actually engage the company and you will lose in court. That is a guarantee. The 9th step is the registration with the tax bureau. That is, once you have all these documents and all the seals, you can go to the tax authorities and register the company with them so as to become a taxpayer. The 10th step is to apply for tax invoices and set up the tax machine. It's basically a printer that will allow you to print official receipts that will then be the only type of receipts that are accepted to make the payments to you as tax deductible for other companies. It's extremely important to have that. Let's say the cost of this is minimal, but it takes a while to get it all together. Use the same tax agent for everything tax related. The 11th step is the opening of a basic RMB bank account, and the 12th step is the opening of the foreign currency capital account. This is the last, the 12th step, the foreign currency capital account, will be useful for the 13th step, which consists in putting your investment to bringing your foreign currency from abroad into the capital account. Please make sure that you are bringing, you're wiring the money from the company that is the owner of the shares of your subsidiary in China, of your investment in China. Do not send it from another company. It will just not be received as investment, and it has to go into this very account, not any other account, not the RMB account, not another account, just this registered account. The 14th step is the foreign exchange registration. You have to be registered with the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. Otherwise, well, you're not allowed to play. The 15th step is the issuance of customs registration certificate for importing and exporting companies, which is actually not needed if you're, for example, in services. The 16th step is the registration with the social insurance institution, that is the Baoxianju, the Social Security Office, which will be a different office depending upon your business scope, the industry you're in, and the location, also of the investment level. So this is very much where we are in terms of the 16 main steps. Do not hesitate to get in contact with us if you have any need with any of this. Obviously, you will see the link at the end and in the description of the video.